one and all, and happy Thanksgiving. This is a day that the Lord has made, and we are all certainly glad in it. Thank you so much for spending time with me on this wonderful holiday. I promise not to be too long because you've got family to attend to and all the wonderful things that go along with that, and dinner preparations and all that good stuff. But again, thank you so much. We must remember to never forget to give thanks. I know sometimes when you look at what's going on in the news and you see some of these stories, you want to do a lot more than just give some thanks. You want to give something else when you see what's going on politically and things of that nature in our republic. And but that's not what we're supposed to do, folks. We, the people, are supposed to always remember to be thankful, because an attitude of gratitude does what? It opens you up for more blessing. That's what God says. And I can attest to that. In recent years, much has been done to try and eradicate Thanksgiving from our way of life, from our nation, because of its Christian roots, its Christian beginnings, and for the reason why Thanksgiving was even started in the first place. Thanksgiving did not even originally begin in America, but in America it became a huge holiday that impacts the entire world. You know, we, the people of our beloved republic, have just witnessed the biggest cheating scandal in the history of humanity. The threat of a Joe Biden presidency still looms over the United States, but it's only a threat, mind you. Like a menacing dark cloud of gloom and doom, the joyless Democrats of Death Party have promised to eradicate the last vestiges of our Bill of Rights and constitutional government restraints and replace it with a form of demonically inspired government which would eliminate our great Christian heritage, our economy, our inventiveness, as well as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and or property. Now, despite all of the aforementioned leftist satanically inspired madness, there is still much to be thankful for. The good news is that we do not have to give in to their evil ways, desires, plots, plans, or whatever, nor compromise what we know to be good in order to go along just to get along. We should not ever attempt to think about going along just to get along. We must not forget that no one should have authorized nor given the leftists the authority to rule over us in the first place. Unfortunately, my friends, the leftists were permitted to take over our school system, the church denominations, and as a result, that opened up the door to our present day temporary dominance by those who want to take this nation down. During this time of Thanksgiving, however, let us reflect upon what were the ingredients that made the United States the envy of the world in the first place. We must do that in order to free our republic from the modern day globalist slavery threat. It is now time to focus on the antidote, which begins with a heart of thanksgiving, my friends. We must remember to be thankful in the midst of the madness. And let us not forget, we must forgive those who have chosen to be enemies of God, we the people, and our republic as a whole. We the people must forgive. If we take that approach and seek providential guidance, as did the Pilgrims and later the Founding Fathers, then the wisdom and power will be given by God to overthrow the present day leftist dark cloud of doom. Frederick Douglass, who was born in 1817, a slave. He lived until 1895. He chose to become a successful abolitionist, publisher, businessman, and arguably the greatest orator of the 19th century. He did not allow himself to succumb to the vision of others over his life. He was a commanding force against the inhuman practice of slavery. Thousands of individuals were brought out of their indifferent attitude toward the value of the lives of Black American people suffering under the democratic boot heel of slavery. Many were moved away from the opinion that it was a person's choice whether or not to enslave another person. As a result, multitudes began supporting the right to life for all humans, regardless of their race or circumstances. After learning the truth about God's holy word, our Bill of Rights and Constitution, along with his personal acceptance of Christ, Frederick Douglass learned to love all mankind, slaveholder not accepted. Though he abhorred slavery more than ever, Douglass realized that he could be more effective against Satan's slavery if he were fueled by God's love, power, and wisdom. Thus, Mr. Douglass wisely thanked God, obeyed him, then witnessed the official end of slavery and much success in his own personal life. As we contend with the Democrats and their rhino partners attempting to enslave all of America today, we must first refrain from hurting ourselves through hate toward those people, but rather through righteous indignation, defeat them and literally replace their evil with God wants, which is good. Then we will be in a position to once again let freedom ring throughout the land and fully undertake the responsibility of rebuilding our society. By all means, my friends, as we the people must return to the United States and make it toward the providential God of our guidance. We must also give unbridled repentance for allowing the latter day leftists to stench that has come so close to literally bringing our great republic to a screeching halt. The biblical passage, 2 Chronicles 7:14, promises that if we seek God's forgiveness, he will hear from heaven and heal our land. Though the legions of leftists in media, academia, and entertainment would have you believe that they have the final say, it is not so, my friends. If you love God, the United States of America, and your family, do not give in, nor do not give up, despite what the dragon media, the Chinese concubine American politicians, and their friends might say. Remember, God is in control, and through his guidance, you also can be in control. And we, the people, will take back control of the United States and preserve her for God's greatness as well. Do not give up, but rather give thanks unto the Almighty One who shed his grace upon America. Now you can enjoy your life as it is fulfilled because of your willingness to forgive. And just like to share a little story with you. When I was a little boy growing up in Cleveland, my dad taught me about the importance of Thanksgiving. He often reminded me that although there are those who hate our republic, but for some reason never have the intestinal fortitude to leave, he used to joke about that. Why don't these people just get up and leave and, leave the country to us? That we, the people, are blessed to have been born in this land of plenty, where our Bill of Rights enumerates our inalienable rights, and the Constitution, which places restraints on government when we allow it to. Dad would also talk to me about great Americans like the Pilgrims and many others. And the one underlying theme that they all shared, and I won't get into all the historical figures that he would talk to me about at this time, but there was one underlying theme. They all had an unabiding faith in God. They did not allow circumstances, they did not allow their position in life, they did not allow bitterness or whatever to take them off of that path. And for the most part, they were allowed to have a great life. Many of them we have read about in our American history. And once again, those great Americans will be taught about after things are cleaned out with the second term of Donald John Trump. And sometimes, the saying, our iron sharpeneth iron. It's a real quick story I want to share with you. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but also when I was a little guy, there was a family that lived 2 doors down. They were the Rebuses. They were an Italian family, and we were very, very close, as were most of our neighbors, in fact, for the most part. But two of the sons were in my age bracket. One was a year older, and one was a year younger than myself, Michael and Marky. But I tell you, we were always in each other's homes. We were sharing each other's at dinner time, whatever. I was always making an excuse to be down their house on Fridays because they always had fish and spaghetti, and that was their specialty. And I always made sure that I showed up. I was always just always there, right on time. But every once in a while, Mark and I would get into these little rumbles, and we duke it out. But we did not understand until years later that our dads used to allow us to get into those fights because they somehow knew that we would only go so far in hurting each other. But they said they were allowing us to go through these battles because that was training for when we'd have to have each other's back in if we went into other neighborhoods, and there were these other neighborhoods where if you went in the wrong area sometimes that you might get attacked. And because of that strengthening of one another, we did pretty good in protecting each other and all of that and looking out for each other, and we were able to defeat most of our enemies. Same thing in football. We played high school football. I mean, our practices were more difficult than our games. We thought our coach was crazy. But when we started realizing by the third and fourth game, my gosh, what, 27 to nothing? 43 to nothing? Boom, boom, boom. We were very, very good, state champions and all of that. And we realized those two-a-day practices, each of which were more difficult than our games, were preparing us so that we could easily beat the enemy. And sometimes in those practices, we would get into horrible fights. I mean, if a defensive lineman gave me an extra hit, I mean, I would take my helmet off and we would just go at it. And the coaches would allow a lot of that going after. But after the tug of war practices and all of that stuff, we would have one of those inspiring rah-rah speeches from our coaches. Not so much rah-rah, but really inspiring. And they were strengthening. And by the time the speeches were over, we were closer as a team after each practice than we were before. And it was just amazing. So as we as men and women of God sharpen each other like we sharpen each other like iron, we are preparing each other. If we do it in love, we do it according to proper principles, we are sharpening each other so that when we go out and we have to deal in whatever metron we are in, we have to deal with the byproduct of the enemies in our republic. My gosh, we're able to overcome the political correctness. We're able to overcome the bull capital S with a hit with this voting situation. We will stay unified. We will stay on point and on principle. And we will support our president. We are not going to back down because we've had so many years of training amongst ourselves. And that is why, one of the reasons why I cannot be deterred or distressed over these various reports. They keep trying to tell us, well, it's over. If you look at the fake Fox News or MSNBC, CNN, all these fakers, they're still trying that. Oh, I mean, it's by the time they should even be tired of saying the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's like they're retarded almost. They just keep going on and on and on. I mean, they put you to sleep if you turn over there and then listen to the same thing over and over again. But here's the thing. Those of you who continue to maintain your faith and continue to maintain not only just a positive attitude, but also a prayerful attitude and an attitude of faith, unwavering. And with that unwavering faith, that is how you will address the issues. And as you seek God's wisdom in the middle of all of this, in whatever metron you are in, you will do the right thing to help engage in the restoration of this republic. Because wherever you are, if it's as a parent, as an educator or teacher, as a sports figure, as a radio commentator, da-da, and whatever, as a mother, as a father. Whatever your Metron is, you take the right attitude with that. I can good guarantee you, you will be a wonderful part of restoring this great republic. The restoration is going to happen with or without you, but we'd rather, have you join the party because it's going to be wonderful. We will be singing "Happy Days Are Here Again." Well, I see that my time is just about up. Thank you so much for your time. But I tell you what, if you like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I'd like to invite you to also to check out a commentary I have. It's called The Edwards Notebook. It is heard throughout the Republic. You can go to my website and see where it's heard. In fact, I'll tell you a little bit. It's heard on hundreds of radio stations overnight, on many Salem stations. It's carried during the Captain's America Third Watch broadcast overnights. You can also hear my own show that is heard on americamatters.us. And you can read my columns if you go to News with Views and America Out Loud weekly. And so you can check me out there. And we will continue to meet here on a regular basis, right here on YouTube as well. And in the future, we will be having interviews and all of that good stuff as well. And so be good, be blessed, and thank God. Just thank God in the midst of all that's going on. Because when you really look at it, it's not all that bad. And you'll understand what I mean in the coming days and weeks in the near future, before the first of the year, of the new year. Anyway, God bless you. God bless America. And may America bless God. Remember, never forget to continue in faith. Godspeed, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye now.